Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video. One more Halloweenish material to review on the weekends. And that's right, you read the title of what Halloweenish material I'm reviewing, and this being a TV movie that comes straight from Nickelodeon, and it's well known to be rumored that because this only aired on TV once, and it was believed, and it was a very popular rumor that, it terrified kids, and Nickelodeon, never, aired it again ever since, it first aired in 2000. But that rumor is actually false. It's because that, it's true, Nickelodeon only aired this once, and that was it, and it's like, they completely forgot about it. But that wasn't until, a lot of people who knew about this film, they were demanding/requesting Nickelodeon to re-air this. And yeah, because Nickelodeon at one point did so, I think in 2011, and yeah, because, they completely forgot about this. And that being CryBaby Lane. Yes, and actually, a friend of mine by the name of Andrew requested me to, check this out and, if I would consider doing a review on it. Well, thus I am. I gotta say, CryBaby Lane is not what I was expecting, because, yeah, I heard about this rumor, and, my friend Andrew who told me about this, yeah, because I was thinking, well, okay, there might be some scary stuff to it, from what I was seeing in, some still shots, but when watching the movie, and actually, because you can easily find it online, specifically on YouTube, it's there. When I watched it for the first time, and, as I record this, I watched it last night, I got to say, and I'm being completely honest, nothing about it scared me. There wasn't really anything scary to it, and people have been saying that they felt that this was too scary for kids. That rumor? Seriously? Is it that scary? Yeah, I can understand it. Maybe some little kids would have found this, quite scary, with a couple of things, that would just probably freak them out. I could think of a lot of good things, specifically, a lot of the characters' eyes, until I get to that. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's not what I was expecting, and I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad or anything. It was okay, and for me. But anyways, as always, I'll read the description / the story. Andrew, played by Jace Blankfort, yeah, I think I'm saying that right, and his older brother, Carl, played by Trey Rogers, enjoy listening to ghost stories that the local undertaker, played by Frank Langella, if I'm saying his last name right, tells them. One night, he tells the tale of a local farmer whose wife gave birth to Siamese twins, one being good-natured, while the other was clearly evil. The farmer, ashamed of them, kept the twins locked in their room. Eventually, the twins got sick and died together, so the farmer sawed them in half, and buried the good twin in the cemetery and the bad twin in a shallow grave near the house. Later, Carl and his friends decide to hold a seance in the cemetery where the good twin is buried, but they unintentionally awaken the bad twin instead. Gradually, I hope I pronounced that word right, he possesses nearly everyone in town, and it is up to young Andrew to stop him. So, I really honestly don't know where to begin, because, again, not what I was expecting in this film. I was expecting some things. You have those moments where you expect this and that, what's gonna happen in this movie, you know what I'm saying? But, overall, nothing really. But yeah, so again, because the two brothers, Andrew and Carl, they often visit Mr. Bennett, a friend of theirs. I don't know, because I'm not sure if the movie really establishes, maybe he is related to the family or something. Golly, especially their mother. She has a big grudge against Mr. Bennett. she like hates him, like, and I think, yeah, as Mr. Bennett at one point establishes, like, something about, you know, her mother's death, you know, the boy's mother's mother, you know, their grandmother, like, and, you know, how Mr. Bennett treated her, you know, at her funeral, stuff like that. I don't know. That's all I can remember and what Mr. Bennett established. But yeah, because the boy's mother, like, not happy and pleased, like, you know, when they're around Mr. Bennett. And, you know, sometimes, like, with siblings and, you know, with Carl, because he's sometimes very hard on his brother and just bullying him and, like, just grabbing him by, like, this and so on. You know, there are some siblings like that for sure. And golly, because not just Carl. I mean, Carl is not all that bad, besides, like, you know, moments between him and Andrew and what's going on in this film, and, you know, because of what they're facing. But golly, their mother is for sure a handful. And their dad, well, not so much to the dad. I think, you know, he knows, you know, how much of a pain his wife / their mother is. But, you know, I mean, there were some pretty good characters in this film, you know, from, say, Andrew and Mr. Bennett. You know, they were pretty good. There's also Andrew's friend, Hall, played by Mark John Jeffries, who would go on to be Eddie Murphy's son in the Haunted Mansion movie, and would make a cameo in Spider-Man 2. You know, that scene where Peter on his pizza bike, you know, a robbery car, like, you know, the robber's in a car, you know, almost about to hit him, and then he does a flip, and those two boys, you know, how'd you do that? And, you know, he says, you know, I always eat my green vegetables. Yeah, that he was one of the boys. And yeah, because Hall and Andrew, like, sometimes playing Lord of the Rings stuff, you know, and keep in mind that, you know, because a mentioning of Lord of the Rings in this film, this was a year before the first Lord of the Rings movie came out. So, yeah, it's true. So, yeah, the mentionings of Lord of the Rings and the fact that, yeah, a year after this movie came out, what would come next that would make cinema history, for sure. So yeah, not that much for Hall, because he's sometimes here and there. In fact, well, I assume that he would be one of the main characters tagging along and facing, like, the dead and stuff like that. And yeah, because that's what I was that's what I thought was going to happen. Because, you know, all the kids that come together and they're at the cemetery and doing a seance. Yeah, that word almost slipped out of my head. Because, yeah. And, you know, because after one of the stories that Mr. Bennett tells them about the Siamese twins, you know, one being good and one being evil, well, one evening, because Andrew and Carl and a bunch of their friends, you know, being a bunch of girls, going to the cemetery and doing a seance, and, you know, in fact, Carl, not Andrew, Carl, like, pulled a prank on the girls, like, you know, using, like, one of those, like, small devices, like, radio, like, machines, I forget what they're called, but, you know, like, it would play sound effects, and thus, you know, when they're doing the seance and trying to, you know, summon the dead, like, it comes from the machine, and yeah, they pulled a prank, but then they start hearing the crying, because hence the title, CryBaby Lane. And yeah, very creepy, obviously. Like, anything like that, you just hear those type of noises, and yeah, it never fails to disappoint when those things happen. And, well, Mr. Bennett, like, later on the film starts to suspect some things going on, and, you know, what's happening with CryBaby Lane, the CryBaby Lane location, and soon enough, like, the evil twin starts possessing, you know, each person, you know, where, you know, Mr. Bennett and everybody else lives, you know, and their eyes, like, yeah, the white eyes that we see on some characters, including a dog being possessed, you know, and attacking Mr. Bennett and another character with Mr. Bennett, and then it starts happening to, like, a mailman and to some of the kid characters, like, you know, from the girls to Hall and Carl. Like, well, obviously Carl would be possessed, all except for Andrew, and, you know, and also the parents. Like, nothing happens to the parents, and there's nothing really much to the parents. All there is with the parents, especially the mother, is just her just despising Mr. Bennett, and even when Andrew, like, you know, visits Mr. Bennett, and especially like when they're talking about, more about like the Siamese twins and the evil twin, and how the mother is so pissed off and she's threatening to do a restraining order on Mr. Bennett. Jeez Louise, lady, what did this guy ever do to you? He's harmless, he's a nice guy, and who doesn't love hearing ghost stories? Well, the fact that she's unaware that this is really happening, like the dead is rising and ghosts and the evil twin. And yeah, we don't get anything else, like, half an hour into the film with the parents, especially the mother. In fact, that's it, because, like, there's no, like, the ending to the film is not what I was expecting either, because we don't see the parents doing all right, and it's like, would the mothers, as of now, be okay with, her kids hanging out with Mr. Bennett? There's nothing like that at the end of the movie. Also, a couple other, main characters in the film, can't forget to mention, and one of them not having so much to do in the film, Kathy, being played by Sherry Dratch, I think I'm saying her last name right. Yeah, I can tell, and, especially after watching the film, I suspect that, yeah, Andrew likes Kathy, and the fact that she got possessed too. All those group of girls who were there, with Andrew and Carl, doing the seance, yeah, because they got possessed and with their eyes. And one of the main characters, and who's actually Mr. Bennett's nephew, Kenneth, played by Lark Spies. Kenneth later on, like, helps out, Andrew get to where he's supposed to be and to stop the evil twin. And by the way, because the evil twin being played by Rob Newton, and really not that much for the main villain, the evil twin, seriously? In fact, we can, I think, just about barely see him because he's covered in darkness, like, and, how he talks like, hello, Andrew, and the fact that he's underground and stuff like that. And yeah, because at one point, very later on in the film, because Mr. Bennett, he tells Andrew that in order to defeat the evil twin, there was a root that was from the evil twin's tombstone, and it was pulled out by Carl. Well, there is a root, that comes from his heart, and basically, like, to pull it out, and that way the evil twin will be defeated once and for all. And so, to speed things up, because, we see a lot of characters getting possessed, and even at one point, because, Andrew, he accidentally, like, lost his clothes, and, at one point, like, obviously the girls who are possessed, like, they throw water balloons at him, and of course he, like, sneaks over at, like, some house where a bunch of guys are partying, and, takes some clothes, and one guy who is possessed, like, setting a boat on fire. You just need to watch the movie and, to see all this. In fact, again, because a mailman being possessed and, like, smashing a mailbox, and, Carl also being possessed as well, and almost causing, and obviously this is when Carl was possessed, like, almost causing Andrew to get killed by an incoming train. And sometimes, like, from Carl and Andrew, they would, like, teleport to the cemetery and with the evil twins sometimes. Hall, because again, he got possessed. In fact, he attacked Mr. Bennett, and he even caused Mr. Bennett to be knocked out unconscious and so on. When Andrew and Kenneth, they're on their way to CryBaby Lane, because, Kenneth, he's driving fast and going the speed limits. He doesn't have a driver's license, according to him, and a police car is on their tail, but the policeman is possessed as well, and causing them to wreck and so on. And then they're in a crop field, and at one point, a construction guy, he was on a tractor, not a construction guy, a guy in a tractor actually, like, crashes and, like, wrecks, the car that Kenneth and Andrew were in. They do survive, of course, especially Kenneth. And Andrew, who's all alone in the crop field because he runs into the crop field through it, and, the group of girls step in, taunting him and terrifying him, and one of them, I think it's Kathy, telling Andrew, because this is Kathy being possessed, to kiss him, and at one point, one infamous shot from the movie, she sticks out her tongue, and there's a spider. Oh, jeez. Like, if that's not creepy, obviously it is. And, and very later on, because, yeah, Andrew, he does stumble upon the evil twins' tombstone, and confronting the evil twin, and of course, yeah, defeating the evil twin once and for all by pulling the root, and, from his heart, and so on. And, as Mr. Bennett, told him, gave him the instructions on what to do. And yeah, the evil twin is defeated. And that's it. Like, that's another thing, because I was expecting a climax or something. What you would expect in these kind of Halloweenish films. Like, good example, the Goosebumps movie. You know what I'm talking about? Or the It movies. Stuff like that. But nothing really in this. But, it's just how the movie is, and I'm not really complaining, but I'm just saying, you would still have those moments when it comes to watching movies, and you'd expect something, and it feels like it might happen, but not really. And so everything is back to normal, and, yeah, Kathy and Andrew, like, Kathy finds Andrew, at the cemetery, and of course Kenneth is all right. Everybody who was possessed is all right. And, yeah, and a moment between Andrew and Carl, and like, basically, like, Carl telling Andrew, like, if you tell anybody that, I apologize to you, I will, like, cut your throat and stuff like that, that kind of talk. Like, geez, Carl, get a grip already. Will you stop being like that? Ugh, brothers, And, yeah, the epilogue to the film, because we see Mr. Bennett once again telling, spooky tales to Andrew and Kathy. Carl is not present, because according to Andrew, Carl has had enough of ghost stories for now. And, we also, we see Carl and Hall actually playing together, because, yeah, I think, yeah, because early on in the film, because, like, the interactions between Hall and Carl, not very good, and even Hall telling Carl, like, I'm not afraid of you. But yeah, it seems like they're getting along now. And one last shot where the camera pans down, underground, and I guess, like, it left off a tease that the evil twin is not, fully defeated, I guess. I don't know. CryBaby Lane, I gotta say, was, again, I thought it was okay, not what I was expecting, but overall, it's not that bad, and I'm sure the same goes for you guys. I'm sure that if any of you had seen this, like, whether if you saw it when it first aired, or if you've seen it online, I'm sure you thought it was not that bad. If any, because I have no doubt that, yeah, there are some that, like myself, that thought this was okay, and some that were just, like, and I have no doubt about it. And I'm giving CryBaby Lane, yeah, it's on my mind, 6 out of 10 stars. Yes, 6 out of 10 stars for CryBaby Lane. And what about you guys? What did you think of CryBaby Lane itself? Again, if any of you had seen this when it first aired, or if you've seen this online, what did you think of my review? Leave comments, and give this review video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of CryBaby Lane. More review videos coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And thus, reviewing Halloweenish materials on the weekends has come to a close. It's been a lot of fun for what Halloweenish materials I've reviewed during the weekends of October, and I look forward to doing it again next year. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, peace out, and for one last time, happy Halloween to all.